Paul W. Brown High School. We're entering our 20th season in school history. Since we've been here, we've hung our hats on trying to make history and do things that other teams had never done before. And so we're excited about this upcoming school year. We're going to start the season with 7 seniors. It's going to be one of the youngest teams we've had during our previous 8 years here. We may start a freshman quarterback. We're still trying to identify that guy. We may start 3 or 4 more freshmen. So it's going to be a trying year for us, but the guys have worked hard since last November, and they've been doing that pretty consistently. And so we just tried to grow daily, grow weekly this summer, and try to find pieces and fine tune those things and get everybody in a position where they need to be. Had a rough season last year, so we're looking to do better than the 3-6 that we finished last year. We've added some new games, new teams with Pleasant Grove, who's played in 45 games in the last 3 years because they've gone to the 5A state championship 3 years in a row. We've added Demopolis, which will be another tough 5A opponent for us. So we're really excited. We'll open up with a jamboree on August the 12th against Bob Jones, and then we'll proceed to play, I think it's 4 or 5 away games in a row. So that's going to be really interesting for our fans to have to travel those 4 to 5 games and then have those 5 consecutive games at home. So we're excited about the upcoming season. Like I said, it'll be a trying year for us, but we believe in our coaches, we believe in the kids, and we're excited. The few seniors that we do have, they've been in our program for a while. They're great leaders for us. One right here, Kenyon McKinstry, part-time starter last year, did a really good job for us. He plays defensive end. He may do some other things for us also. And on my left is Justin Morton, who's a junior wide receiver. But these two guys exemplify everything that we want in the Stampede Nation: pride, character, integrity, the academics. They hold that to a high standard themselves, and they come from a good background. And, I think they're going to represent us well this year, on and off the football field, because we do hang our hats on being champions off the field first. We're very big about developing the person, academically, athletically. And if we can do those things, make them champions in the hallway, then we feel like we can win a championship on the football field. Hadn't done that yet. They don't come all the time, but we're just going to keep plugging away, and our goal is to get better every day. And, these are the two guys we brought to represent.
Okay, Coach, talk a little bit about the keys for you to be successful.
The key is going to be developing that continuity. Like I said, we may start 2 freshmen on the offensive line, and if you know football, the offensive line, those guys have to really, really gel to make sure they slide and move at the right time, and crisscross at the right time and whatnot. And so the continuity with that offensive line and plugging in those young guys, and then the continuity of the overall team. We only returned 3 starters from last year, so we got a lot of young guys trying to find their way on the field and to find their way throughout the building, whether that's leadership in the classroom, leadership in the weight room. And so just finding that continuity and getting those pieces in the right place. And then it's going to be staying healthy also. That's going to be a big key to our success. Like I said, we're looking at a freshman quarterback. That kid doesn't start. We're looking at a junior quarterback who's a ball player. So both of those guys are, they're going to be newbies out there. They'll have to get baptized in the fire, but we got some other pieces that we're working with, and the coaches there coaching their tails off, and we'll keep developing kids. The defense, we've been pretty good on that side of the ball. Special teams are going to be key also. In the past, we've always returned kickoffs. We've always blocked punts. And so when we say special forces, the kids will say what?
Winning edge.
Winning edge. And so we really hang our hats on that. And so those will be the key: the help, staying healthy, continuity of the overall team, guys identifying their roles and playing their roles well, and then being good on both sides of the ball, but being exceptional on the special team side.
Okay, Coach, that's one for me. How difficult has it been to keep your team focused this summer, moving into your summer workouts and moving to the school?
It's been a little difficult at times. You say it's slightly warm outside, and at times some of the moms have pulled them off for the heat. So you try to battle that. Then our kids have so many things going on. We met with the mayor the other day, just yesterday actually, Walk Maddox, and he talked about the things that are going on in the city that are pulling these teenagers. So we have to deal with that on a daily basis and get these kids to understand, the parents as well, the commitment. And so, but it's been fun, Coach Hurd. That's all part of it. You know, calling the parent and saying, hey, he said he's gonna miss tomorrow because he got a dentist appointment at 10 a.m. You know, we practice from 8 to 12. Can we reschedule that? You know, just going through that type of stuff and get that rescheduled so now the kid gets there so he can get all the reps. And so it's been about the same difficulty that comes with coaches, the ins and outs that a lot of people on the outside don't have a clue about.
Mr. McKinstry, talk a little bit about your strengths as a player and what are your expectations for this year?
My expectations for this year, as a defensive player, is to have two sets a game and call shutouts across the whole defensive board.
And what makes you the defensive player that you are?
My mentality, I feel like I'm the best player on the field that I can be, and I don't think nobody can line up to get me.
Mr. Moore, talk about your strengths and what are your expectations for this year?
I feel like my strength is my leadership. I feel like I'm a good leader. I motivate and push my teammates. And I feel like that's what makes me a better player on the field too. That I'm not just worried about me, I'm worried about my other teammates' success. And as far as my expectations for me, I want to be known. I want to be respected as a player, but also for the team. I feel like if you just keep working, keep grinding, that we can get a good record and we can do very good this year.
Okay, talk a little bit about your leadership style, Mr. McKinstry. In terms of having a young football team, as a leader, you're going to have to make sure everybody kind of toes the line. So talk about your style as a leader on this team.
As a leader, I feel like I have to be more vocal. As a guy, as a person on the team that everybody looks up to, I have to be vocal towards the young guys, show them their way through like process of high school football.
And McKinstry has done very well on that. We tell the guys, their own personalities, it is what it is. But we tell them we need vocal leaders, we need visual leaders, guys who lead by example. And a lot of that is, those guys have to speak up because we say on good teams, the players are always checking the players. But on great teams, who check the players? The players check the players. And McKinstry, like I said, was a part-time starter last year. His freshman and sophomore year, kid just showed up every day. He was able to watch Boris Hoskins, who's at Jacksonville State right now, playing defensive end. He practiced behind that kid. Javaris didn't talk for 2 years. McKinstry didn't talk for 2 years. But he's grown and he talked more last year, and so he's becoming more vocal now. And that's what we also like to hang our hat on, taking a kid that doesn't appear to be a leader, but has those characteristics and just watering the flower and watching it bloom. And he's done that, so we're very proud of him.
Mr. Moore, talk a little bit about your style as a leader and how you expect to get your guys going this year.
I think my style as a leader is by example. I feel like, as a leader, I think that I have to do certain things differently than other players, because I have people looking up. Like freshman, I can't be, walking on the field with coach tell us to run on the field because they're going to do the same thing that I do. So I think that I have to lead by example, for the younger people on my team, and not even the younger people, the older people, so they do the same thing that I do.
Coach, you have the program in place where you bring eighth graders in. You guys, you give them a cap and a shirt, and you get them going into your program like that before their freshman year. Talk about how that's going and how that's building continuity throughout the team at an early age.
Yes. So this year we had our first middle school signing day, and that was really awesome. I think we had over 28 graders to come over, and they basically just signed the contract. You got the transfer portal in college. If you ain't careful, you're gonna have the transfer portal in high school. So we had those guys come over and their parents come over, and the contract just states that you're gonna be the best student you can be. You're gonna be the best player that you can be, the best son that you can be, the best big brother that you can be. You're gonna step on the field and not only represent your family, your parents, and our football team, but Paul Bryan High School, the city of Tuscaloosa City Schools. And so we talked to them about that. And I think doing that face to face kind of hopefully increase the commitment. Hopefully the parent and the child will say, hey, now we signed that contract. We look Coach Hill in the face. We look those older guys in the face and say, we're going to be here for the next 4 years, and we're going to give it your all. And those guys remember that. And fortunately, a lot of those guys, like I said, about 3 of those guys may start for us. And so I think that's going to be something that we continue to do in the future, and just letting those guys know that, hey, we want you here. This is your home. This is where you need to be. Never mind everybody pulling at you and tagging you and trying to get you over here. This is your home, and we want you here. So just another way to show them some love, another way to connect both programs.
Last question for all three. We know that high school football, high school athletics is almost a year-round deal. So what do you do when you just wind down and kind of give yourself a little time to debrief and just get away from athletics? What do you do for enjoyment outside of athletics?
Most of the time, it's just being at home around my family, enjoying time with them, things like that.
Most of the time outside of athletics, I'm in the choir at my school, so most of the time if I'm not doing football, I'm doing something in the choir, and that's mainly it. Like I like to sing, I'm not just singing one thing, I do other stuff outside of football, but most of the time.
You gonna say something? No, I'm just joking. You gonna say something?
He's ready.
And no mistake, now he's a good football player. I know when football players sing in the choir, they may not coincide. You may think, oh, that doesn't match, but he's a really good football player. That's a good question. I like McKinstry's answer. I do like to spend a lot of time with the family, but I have a problem with unwinding. Most of the time, if I'm spending time with the family, I probably still got a playbook or a computer. I'm trying to sneak some reps and look at some film. But we do need to, wind down and get away. And so it'll be time with the family, whether it's bowling, skating, just maybe going out to the lake and just hanging out, not too much fishing, but throwing a reel out there and acting like we're fishing, but mainly spending time with family until we get back to our other things.
Well, thank you guys. And anybody have any other questions, which we really appreciate it. Good job. Thank you guys.
Thank you guys for having us.
You guys will hang around until Brian finishes. Hopefully we can get everybody in. We'll take a group picture with everybody that we have. Thank you. Flag football, girls flag football. Good job. Coach, take a minute to introduce yourself and talk a little bit about the upcoming season.
Well, good morning. My name is Curtis Gray. I'm your head varsity women's flag basketball coach at Paul W. Bryant High School. With me, I have seniors Caleb Bryant and Wendy Lewis. We're very excited about the upcoming season, especially being year 2. And the best thing about year 2 is that we have a chance to learn from year 1. So we're very excited. We're venturing into something new, and the journey continues. So last year we laid a few blocks on the foundation, and so this year we plan on basically putting up the sidewalls and the roof and maybe complete this project. These young ladies right here have been working extremely hard with a couple more of their teammates during the summer months. Like Coach Hill stated, it's been quite warm, but they've come and they put in their work and time and effort. So we're expecting big things this season. To be a little bit better than last year, but we still recognize that it is a project that's going to take a while to build, but we'll build it, and we're going to be excited and have fun and enjoy this season.
It's been a relatively new sport. How is it recruiting the young ladies in your school to get your numbers to be able to compete the way you want to compete in this school?
Well, we started with a small spring training, trying to invite students out just so they can get a little taste of it. And during that spring training, I think at one point we had maybe somewhere between 13, 15, students that wanted to try. And that included the players that played previously. So when, the summer started, we were back down to our 7 and 8 that played in the previous season, which is, it's going to be a little give and take for some of our female athletes or female students that doesn't understand that they are athletes yet, learning practice styles, and having to train, being outside with a lot of young people, outside activities. So it's been a give and take, a little here and there, push and pull, but the 7 or 8 girls that we've had that have consistently come to summer training and summer workout, I feel are really ready to actually play and compete at this game. A lot of issues we have when they're learning to compete, learning to become athletes. And it's a difference when you just playing and competing and trying to be a competitive athlete with some of our female students. So, like I said, that's been part of the issue. But when school comes back around, we might have one more open day just to see who else is interested if they wasn't around when we started. But we have 8. I know that are completely committed and dedicated. You don't have to have 7. So I look at it, we got 1 plus.
And talk a little bit about with girls play football, you don't really have a leader program. So you have to kind of teach the skills of the young ladies to play offensive defense. So talk a little bit about that coaching aspect for the skills of girls play football.
Basically, our summers have been more involved with skill. And we do a little conditioning and working out and trying to get our bodies, or their bodies to be more athletic. Like I said, they got to train to use a different type of body. Using most of them, using movements that they're not so much accustomed to using. But we basically work more skill this summer. Like I say, Caleb's a really good athlete, and Remy's going to be an excellent quarterback. So, I mean, when they finally realize that they can do these things with the skill and their confidence, with their skill and their ability and their attitude, it's going to be awesome. Teaching, throwing a football, if you just don't pick it up and throw, it comes with a little fundamental teaching and knowledge. And Remy has that. She's going to be our quarterback, and she can throw that thing, And Caleb's going to be one of our main receivers, running backs, blockers, and they're going to play both sides. So teaching offense and defense, terminology, what's a pass, this is a block. They say it's non-contact, and we try to play non-contact, but through last year we know that there will be some contact. So being able to take a little bump and a little bruise and get on up and keep playing the compete and not letting one little misstep sort of put a damper on the grand scheme of things in the game.
Ms. Lewis and Ms. Bryant, talk about how you came to be a girls flag football player. Was that something that you kind of always wanted an opportunity to do? And then when the program came, it was something you kind of just went into? But talk a little bit about how you chose to be a part of the girls flag football program.
It wasn't something that I really wanted to do, but when the opportunity came around, I wanted to try it out. And when I tried it out, I found out that I really did like it. So I stuck with it, and now I'm the quarterback of the Giants.
Football is something I've always wanted to play, which it's a boys' sport. It's never been a girls' football team, but it's something I always wanted to play. So when I got the opportunity, I took it, and I will play football.
And when you started last year, was it what you expected, or was it something you were like, wow, this is a little more difficult than I thought it was? Talk a little bit about that transition as you really got into the game and started playing.
Once I got into the game, it was different. I was not expecting it. Like, you have to learn different techniques and stuff, like pulling flags and stuff, and being on defense and stuff. There's a lot of different techniques that I didn't know when I had to learn, but I like it.
Yeah, it really is boys football. I didn't know it was gonna be a little tackling, but when I found that I just had to go through it. But yeah, it's awesome.
and I know with young ladies, you really can't say, I emulate this football player, but are there some football players that you see that you kind of try to emulate your game after, say, oh, I like the way they play, skill wise?
No, no, sir.
I don't watch football.
Okay, also, well, I always ask this question, you know, you gotta have some things outside of athletics and everything you have going on to just kind of, hey, be brief and just relax. So what do you do in your spare time to just have me time and just relax?
Um,
Have fun.
I'm also with my family and I do hair outside school, so I'm either doing hair or chilling.
My main thing is I spend time with my family. Just like I like to do, just like my breathing. I just like to spend time with my family and do stuff like that. Yeah.
Thank you guys. Anybody have any other questions? Thank you. We really appreciate it. Good job. Volleyball. Okay, Coach, introduce yourself and kind of tell us about your upcoming season.
Okay, I'm Coach Williams. This is my first year working with the girls. It's my first year coaching. I just finished my first year as a teacher. I'm an art teacher, so I've gotten to know several of our players through that. I'm here with two of our seniors. This is Jalen Davis, and Noria Wilson. But I'm really excited to be with the girls this year. I'm really lucky to have the group of girls that I do. They've been really enthusiastic and coming in this summer and putting in so much work, and they show up and they show out. They are so talented. We have a group of really well-rounded girls. They're involved with all kinds of extracurriculars. Like I know several of them are involved with our TFAA program, and choir, and SGA. So we have a great group of girls that are also incredible athletes. I've been really impressed with them this year. I didn't know what to expect walking into this, especially with it being my first year and not being very familiar with the team and having to familiarize myself with the sport. But I've been really impressed with them. They've done a really great job, and I think they're going to do really well this season.
And being a new coach, how have you prepared yourself kind of mentally and physically for the challenge that you have?
It's definitely been a challenge. I played volleyball myself growing up, and so I already knew the sport very well, but, going back, like watching videos, making connections with other coaches, being really in constant contact with my athletic directors and other members of our faculty that have just been really supportive and helpful. I've found some really great assistant coaches who've been instrumental in us doing what we've done so far this summer. But it's been a lot. I'm learning a lot, but I'm also getting a lot of help. So I think that we're doing a good job.
And in terms of your coaching style, what would you say your coaching style is, and how is it kind of give your coaching style across to your players as a new coach?
I'm still learning my coaching style, I think. This is all brand new to me, so I'm more of a gentle person. I don't really have that kind of booming personality, but I like to check in individually with each of the girls and make sure that I'm meeting their needs and getting feedback from them and learning from them. And our seniors have really stepped up and been helpful to me and guiding me as their coach and letting me know what we're doing right and what are some areas that we can improve on. And they're giving me their feedback as athletes. I think that we should do more of this type of drill, or I think that we're doing a really good job here, but we should make this adjustment. So it's a lot of communication with my athletes and my assistant coaches, and just being positive and very energetic and constant communication.
All right, Ms. Davis and Ms. Wilson, having a new coach coming in, you guys will have to be leaders on this team and kind of bridge everything until she kind of gets to know. And every coach wants to have those upperclassmen who kind of are leaders. Talk a little bit about that process of having a new coach and now you guys having to kind of lead those young players into this season.
Having a new coach is great. It's kind of challenging. And having to help that team, it's like they catch on really quick and it's really great. And my coach is really great at this point and getting stuff. And she's trying to get to know everybody.
Thank you, Tom. What is it that you do to kind of help the younger players to kind of succeed as an older player?
Before having a new coach, you had to like push like communication and like help each other, but having a new coach now, it's like you have to do it like more, and I have to step up more and show leadership skills like more.
And as older players, when things really get tough and let's say you're behind, the game is tight, when you come into that huddle, what's your mindset and kind of talk a little bit about that inside game that we want to hear about?
Okay, my mindset is that I tell my players we have to be right, let you talk, communicate, always move my feet on the court, and just keep positive attitude, because positive attitude take us a long way.
Yeah, you gotta push positivity and try to dwell on the negative things that you learn from our mistakes, but do not dwell on them.
And just last question, what are your expectations for this team this season?
I have really high expectations of them. I think that they have a lot of talent and skill, and I think that the most that I can ask for them is that they come in and give it their best, and that they stay positive and put 100% of their effort into every game, every practice, and that they really strive to be good examples and come back stronger and improve from last season and just continue growing and become really strong, well-rounded individuals and athletes that set a positive example.
Anyone else would like to? Individual goals or team goals, or you have any of the setting?
To create a strong bond with our team and make sure we all come together and somebody do something.
I really hope to like push the mentality of like that like we're great, we're gonna do great, we're gonna try to do this, and to always be positive. I really hope that like we're working like our communication, like working like working on teamwork together because volleyball is a team sport. We have to push each other forward, like push each other up.
Okay, thank you guys. Anything else you would want to say? Any comments?
I'm just really proud of the girls. I was nervous coming into it as a new coach because they didn't know me very well, and I was worried that we would have issues like with communication and familiarizing ourselves with each other. But I think they've done a really good job being welcoming and open, and they're going to do really great and they work well together. So I'm excited. It'll be
Thank
good.
you. Thank you so much. Great job. Great job. Good job. Cross country. Good deal. I just got up to 7 at one point. Okay, Coach, take a minute, introduce yourself and talk a little bit about your preseason perspectives and upcoming season.
Okay, so I'm Sade Branch. This will be my first year as the cross country coach, but my 4th year at Bryant. For the preseason, really, this is all new to all of us because, like I said, this is my first season. And then, we had 3 kids run last year, but 2 out of those 3, that was their first year running. Then we have some kids that will be competing this year. This will be their first year running. So it's really all been somewhat of a learning experience for everyone. But really just over the summer, we've just been working out. Um, it's kind of been an obstacle because, the weather, and then, with it being summer break, you have, students that are traveling, or, I even have some children who are participating with the summer track team, so they're doing that. So just, working with what I have and just, trying to motivate everyone so that we can have a good season.
And how do you kind of keep everything together when you have a lot of distractions and you can't really get all of the pieces together, weather, everything? How does that kind of play into you preparing for the season?
Like I said, it's an obstacle, but I mean, you just have to work with what you have. I try to be very understanding, because it is summer break and, I can't really make them come to practice. So, just try to motivate them and, give them alternatives like, okay, well, if you can't make it to practice, you can do this at home or, do that. But yeah, just trying to stay positive and just
Okay, and I always have to ask this about cross-country track because as a former football player, the one thing we hated was running. So to get your mindset that when I come to practice today, I'm basically going to run. Kind of, talk to me about the strengths of the cross-country athletes and how you kind of cultivate those strengths.
Well, actually, believe it or not, when kids do cross country, they end up liking it because of the fact that, it's different compared to track. It's kind of a slower pace. Most of the places where they're running in the shade. So it's not a thing of, oh, it's too hot or, but they actually end up liking it. It's just the thing of, actually getting them out there so that they can learn and, they can see, oh, this is what it is. I think I can do this.
So I'm going to start with the young lady. Introduce yourself and then just talk a little bit about your expectations for the season and how you've been preparing for this.
My name is Hayden Wall. I guess my expectations for the season is just to finish every race knowing that I did my best. Because I've had a lot of issues, and with a lot of athletes, it's a very mental sport running. And so, I'll go in with doubts and fall back a little bit and then finish knowing that I had more than me and I don't want to make those mistakes this year.
My name is Richard. My expectations for this cross country season is simple. Everything I do, I want to be better at it than we are at the time I do.
And as leaders of the team, talk a little bit about when I think about sometimes people say, well, man, I don't really feel like practicing today. I don't feel like doing this today. As leaders on your cross-country team, what kind of mindset would you have, leading the team to kind of step it up?
Per se, I tell myself, just don't stop. Like I said, it's a very mental sport and honestly, you just can't stop. But once you do, it's harder to get going again. That comes with running, general practice, races, and even just showing up. You just have to tell yourself to get up and go.
I said, you just got to put it back in. What you got to do. So, you want to be the best, you got to put in that work and effort to be the best. You can't say, oh, I can only go to practice today because I don't feel like it.
And that was my next question for all of you guys. You're in a competitive 6A reach. So do you have some people you identify that, hey, this year when I compete against them, so how do you kind of say, I'm going to step my game up to really be able to compete the way I want to compete against the competition?
I know she's back there doing that on the Northern team. Everyone thinks of her as just like the ideal goal for women's distance runners.
Are you friends?
I don't think I've ever actually met her.
Okay.
But yeah, that's just just those other girls on the other teams that you see out there, they work hard. And you can see that they work hard and it shows in the results. And so that's just something to look up to. You can tell yourself that I could be there if I didn't have them.
You
actually, I like to kind of compete with my own team a little. Be seeing the work they put in. I try to be equal or put in more than them. Just for the competition.
And having been a long year, long school year, everything, kind of what do you do to relax and kind of separate yourself so that you can kind of get that relaxation time and then come back home? What do you kind of do? All three.
Personally, I take a lot of naps. I'm always in my free time, I'm asleep.
That's good.
I just sleep.
I listen to music a lot, big on music, and nerves, opens up my mind.
Honestly, I don't know if I know how to relax because when I do get off time, it's like my mind is constantly going. Like I'm always thinking, okay, I need to be doing this, did I do this? Like I always feel like I'm supposed to be doing something. Sometimes in order for me to relax, I have to force myself to relax. So that's like I might have to like just put my phone on silent, like receiving emails and texts and phone calls. But I'm getting better at it, I think. But you know, you just have to take a break sometimes. Like everyone needs a break. So yeah.
Any last comments? So any other questions? Any last comments? Now, thank you guys so much. At this time, we'll come up and we'll take the group picture and then we'll move to the next group.